Hello there, my friend. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you. This is More Sporting, and I'm Pat Moore. Okay, so I don't know about you, but my fishing kayak is my baby, and I'm terribly concerned about the safety of my baby. So I thought I should come up with some way of keeping track of its health. When I'm at an Air B&B or at a campsite or even going in and having dinner at a restaurant, I can't be right there at the kayak to make sure somebody isn't messing with it. And even if I were to strip down everything that is on the kayak that's easily removable, like when I'm sleeping overnight in an Air B&B, there's still stuff that's on that kayak that's worth some money and somebody might mess with it. And it would just be really nice if I had some way of monitoring my baby. Well, I did Google up some surveillance equipment, but that stuff's not cheap. So yeah, the obvious answer is it's a baby monitor. And so I thought, I ought to be able to shoehorn that in there and make it work somehow. So yeah, that's what I did. And this is how I did it. I'm going to share that with you. Well, the first thing I did was ask my wife, hey, where's that baby monitor we used to have? And she said, Pat, that was 15 years ago. It's been thrown away. We had a good laugh over that, but then I did find this guy here at Target. It's $20, and I've seen him cheaper. You could probably find him on Facebook Marketplace for free, but yeah, this is what I started with. Now, I picked it because it had a rechargeable battery, and I thought, that's perfect. All I need to do is put it in a kayak. I'm all done. Okay, well, the receiver is battery operated because that's the thing you'd walk around with, but the baby's in its baby crib, which is next to the wall outlet, so you don't need a battery there. So, of course, it doesn't have a battery in that. So a quick glance at the unit, and it said it needed 6 volts in order to run. So I went out and bought this LifePO4 6 volt, 6 amp hour battery, and it cost me right around $15, and it came with a charger. Now all I needed to do is come up with a way of making the battery and the baby monitors all one nice unit so that I could just toss it in the kayak. Well, so I bought this job box, and that's going to work just fine, and I could have cut off the plug off of one of the chargers and use that, but I thought, I might want to keep that one as a spare. So I'm just going to go buy a simple plug that I can use to plug both into the charger and into the transmitter. So from the battery to the transmitter is one plug, and then there's going to be a spare pigtail coming out of the unit that I can plug the charger into. Just so you know, on these plugs, there's a white line on one of the 2 wires, and that's the one that's supposed to be the hot wire. But manufacturers don't seem to train their people on that, so I've seen them backwards before. So before I go and wire this all up and burn up that battery, I thought, it might be good for me to check that. So I'm going to go through this and check it with a voltage meter, and in reality, both of them were actually wired up correctly. But since I'm doing it, I might as well mention to you how you do this. On a voltage meter, there's usually a little arrow with a line at the end of it, and that is the continuity tester. So all I'm doing is I'm going to check the white wire against the center of the plug to make sure that it has a connection between the white wire and the plug itself. And if it does, then we know it's wired correctly. Now, unfortunately, you can't see the meter, but when it has continuity, the numbers on the screen will go down to 0, and that happens, and this one tested correctly. Now I'm stripping the wire for the plug that the charger would connect to, and we're going to check that as well. And somehow I managed to bump the voltage meter, because now you can actually see the screen. So you can see what it does when you're checking continuity. You can see, boop, it goes down to 0, and eventually, yeah, there we go. It goes down to 0, and we know we have continuity between the white wire and the center pin in a plug. So now my next step is to wire both those hot wires together and both the grounds together, and then put a crimp on the end of them so that it can connect to the battery, and we'll be good to go. Now, I would point out that I tried to fold this over so that it would have a little extra wire inside the connector there, but it didn't fit into the connector that way, so we just had to go with the standard thickness of wire. Now, if you were intelligent at this point, you would drill a small hole in the side of your job box, just big enough for those wires to fit through. But I wasn't thinking about what I was doing here, so I just crimped the ends on here without it being in the job box. So I could cut these off and re-crimp them again, but I just decided I'll make a bigger hole and I'll use some silicone to fill it in. Hey, it doesn't have to be pretty. Gosh darn it. We're going to go ahead and speed up these repetitive tasks so we can get through this a bit quicker. I noticed after I got both of these connectors on that, hey, they're both red. Idiot like me is never going to get them in the right battery spot if I don't color them in. So yeah, I colored them. I colored the ground black so that I wouldn't get confused. The things you have to do when you're elderly. It's approximately at this point I realized, Pat, you didn't drill your hole and put it in a job box first. Oh well. A decision was quickly made. We're going to drill a bigger hole. See there? Not a problem. They fit through there perfectly now. Okay, well, the next thing we're going to do is connect those connectors to the box. And of course, nothing's ever really simple because these are manufactured to fit over a tab that's a lot smaller, apparently. Well, that's not a problem. As an electrician, I've done this a time or two. You just take a small screwdriver and open that up a little bit. And you just want to open the end up a little bit because as you shove it over the tab, it will separate out to fit the tab. So that's all you need to do. And of course, if you separate them out too much, then it's too sloppy and you need to pinch it back down with a pair of pliers again, which of course I had to do. And there you have it. After I get done farting around with it, they do slide on there perfectly, and it's almost like I knew what I was doing. Almost. Now, I don't want this battery flopping around inside that job box and disconnecting the wires and things like that, so I'm putting a little bit of hook and loop Velcro on it that's self-adhesive. So just put both sides on your unit, and then when you set it in there, it will stick into the job box in the right place. Ta-da! Nice and secure. Now to finish the job box portion, all we need to do is screw on the lid. That's it. Once I have the lid screwed on here, I'm going to want to somehow connect the transmitter to the box so it's all one nice unit so I can just set it in the kayak when I need to monitor it. So my solution of choice is a couple of tabs of self-adhesive dual lock. This holds it really firmly, but if I need to get it apart, I can, and so it seems like that's a good solution. And now we get to test it. So if I wired everything up correctly and the plug actually fits the way it's supposed to, I should be able to push the power button and eureka, it powered on. Now you don't have to worry about those lights. They do shine up onto the ceiling for the kid. Yeah, so he has stars on the ceiling, or she. But you can turn that off with a little button there at the top. Oops, I set the receiver off to the side so it's not in frame. But you get the idea. Testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm assuming you can hear me. This is about, I don't know, 30 feet away? About? And let me go outside. Okay, this is what it would be like if I were inside my Air B&B and somebody was messing around with my kayak. Oh, check this out. Look at that. Let me steal this. Oh, here comes a guy out of the Air B&B with a baseball bat. I better run. Okay, that's all there is to it. Now that battery that I bought came with this charger. I wrote on there because it doesn't really have any text on it, but this is the charger that came with it. it comes with one of these, so you can charge the battery by hooking this up as well. But the reason why I wired these two together is so that I have this and I can just plug my charger directly into this. Now, when you do that, you probably want to unplug this, but yeah, plug that in. Now I can charge this overnight or charge this during the day when I'm out fishing. And then when I come back at night, I put this in there with my kayak, and now I know if there's anybody messing around with my kayak. Oh, there you go. And by the way, this has an internal battery in it. This is the receiving unit. It is battery chargeable, so you don't need to have an outlet for this. So if you're camping, you can charge this up during the day, and then at night, we now have both ends are battery charged. Well, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Please give the video a like. That's quite helpful. If you have any questions about it, write up a comment. That would be great too. And if you just think it was really cool, then just say, hey, Pat, cool video in the comments. That would be even better. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And we'll catch you on the next one.